It's another 2's review from Fifth Third Bank Stadium, and at the end of the night, as you look at team game records, it's Jon and it's Jarrett, there's a new track record for goals in a match for Atlanta United 2. They had scored 5 on 4 separate occasions. The last was the Tulsa match back on May the 19th. That is no longer the record for most goals in a match. It is now 6 after what happened tonight. Atlanta United 2 with the big win, 6-2 over Indy 11. And I made the comment, Jarrett, on the broadcast, 4th match in 12 days. Didn't look like it.
It didn't. We sure they didn't score a 7th just now? Because they weren't. They had their kicking shoes on and not kicking people. That was Darwin's job, but they were a problem tonight. And I mentioned it about the 50th, 60th minute. Like, we might have a Tulsa on our hands, and we did have a Tulsa on our hands. They set a record at 6 goals tonight. Let's look at the other stats that they set tonight, because we looked at these numbers and we thought they might be a misprint. 28 total shots in the game. That is a club record. 13 shots on target. I think that's a club record.
Yep.
18 shots inside the box. That's going to be a club record for a lot of teams. 8 corners.
Not a record.
No, probably not a record.
10.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. They won the duels 40-36. Closer than I thought it would be, honestly, because, and we'll get into this, I thought there were times they wanted it more. They were aggressive as all hell coming into this one.
3 changes in the lineup after the doubleheader with Birmingham.
Oh.
And it was a 3-1 loss in the midweek. They come back, and it took all of, I think, officially 12 seconds for the first Tyler Wolff goal. And this is what happens when you buzz the tower, and things like that happen sometimes, and it was an easy one for Tyler Wolff.
You press, and you get rewarded for it, and it certainly has to help us. We're watching some of the highlights back. It certainly has to help. Just that little boost you get when all that effort you put into pressing pays off immediately. Like, yeah, just like you drew it up. Sure, yeah, you absolutely drew it up to get a goal 12 seconds into the game and shift the game. Then you get a second one on a shot that, for my man, Eric Dick's got to make that save on the second one. He gets beat near post, right near his leg. He's got to make that save. But Tyler Wolff ends up with a brace inside of 6 minutes. And, I thought he was going to get a hat trick inside of 20 minutes, and it wasn't for lack of effort.
2-0 at the break, and then Tyler Wolff gets his 3rd in the 50th to make it 3-0, but Indy responds to make it 3-1. Darwin Mateus responds 3 minutes later to make it 4-1. Then you have Mackie Joe making it 5. The assist to Tyler Wolff. Vossel scores to make it 5-2. And then David Mejia at 90 plus 4 puts 6 on the board for Atlanta United 2. 6-2 your final.
Yeah, Mejia's was just, we were done here. You didn't need to play 5 minutes of stoppage time. I had issues with that from the ref. You may have a broken leg. Unfortunately, Jared Timmer goes down, and I shouldn't speculate about it. You have a severe leg injury for Jared Timmer, who goes down making what I thought was a foul. When looking back on it, is a great challenge on Philip Goodrum. I thought he got in front of him and pulled him down. It was a great job where he went shoulder to shoulder with him and does an absolutely wonderful job. But he goes down, immediately calls for the medical staff. He's taken off on a stretcher, unfortunately. So best wishes to Jared Timmer, who went down there. So at that point, Indy's already used all their subs. So they're playing down a man for the last 7 minutes of the game. It's 5-2. You didn't need to add 5 minutes of stoppage time. There might have been 5 minutes worth of stoppages in that half. But that's one where, bend the rule book a bit and look at it and go, it's 5-2, they're down a man, everybody wants to go home. Just give it a minute or so and then blow it after 10 seconds the next time there's a lull in the game.
All right, we've talked about some of the players and some of the highlights of tonight. What was postgame like?
Postgame was jovial because they set a bunch of records. Coach Jack Collison was in a very good mood, very happy with the way they went about their business. They changed the way they pressed tonight. It was more of a pressing from the outside instead of pressing directly down their throat. They tried to push the ball into the center backs. And then Jason mentioned it as well. When you would get that guy pressing, he would follow the press, and he was right about it. Indy just looked like they didn't. It looked like they saw something they didn't see on tape, and they were kind of going, well, now what? And so the way they pressed really set the tone. Jack was very happy with the performance of just the way they went after the second ball. This is a team that they didn't win the duels as intensely as I thought they would watching the game. But especially for me in the first half and for parts of the second half, I was very impressed with the way that they seemed to just win the second ball consistently. And they wanted every second ball, to cliche as it sounds, it seemed to me like they wanted it more. And for a team that playing its fourth game in however many days it
12,
was,
yeah.
12 days, it was just an absolute amazing amount of energy from everybody. Robbie Mertz used to it at this point. Robbie Mertz looks like he might die in the fifth minute of every game, but he's consistently giving you upwards of 90 minutes and hustling it out. Even at the end of that game, on the last chance, on the last goal, you look at the build-up to that goal, where he comes back, gets the ball, kind of loops his run with the ball around to clear himself some space, and it's 2 passes later, it's in Mejia's hands. Just guys like him, Noah Cobb, who I thought had struggled a couple times, misplaced a few passes in the first half, settled down and played pretty well, and just continues to grow. But a lot of these midfielders just, to me, they seemed like they wanted it more. Chris Allen, when he was out there, just I need to find the stats because I'm convinced he has more successful dribbles than any 6 in the league.
You mentioned another couple of names since you mentioned Noah Cobb, and we talked about Tyler Wolf, Josh Bauer, Caleb Wiley, Johnny Fortune, all came in strong tonight. And I mentioned it on the broadcast. Indy 11 at times, they were chasing a lot of shadows tonight of Atlanta United too. And those guys that I was talking about there defensively, they were stalwarts as well there at the back.
Yeah, I talked to Philip Goodrum and Tyler Wolf afterward, and just the confidence that they have to do their job, and they feel like they have to convert their chances because they know behind them that guys like Noah Cobb, guys like Josh Bauer, and Bryce Washington, as he's coming on and getting more and more minutes at USL Championship level, that they are going to take care of business, especially on those counters where it's a long ball over the top and it's a 1v1. We saw it tonight in the second half. There was one especially where Josh Bauer chases it down, goes shoulder to shoulder with the guy, knocks him off the ball, and then Bauer turns around and immediately gets it back in the mixer. And, to shift back to the first half, I think that's what really impressed me with what Atlanta United 2 was doing. In that when they would win those balls, they were putting it back. They weren't just firing it back into the mixer. They were getting it to someone's feet, and they were back in the attack, and they didn't give Indy a chance to breathe.
Now you have Chris Allen obviously taken off with a bit of an injury concern. We'll keep an eye on that as we get ready for Atlanta United in the midweek as OKC comes to town, and it ends up being another 2.5 days worth of stuff. So it'll be 5 matches in 15 days as OKC comes to town. It's the last home match here in Kennesaw for the month. They're on the road for the rest of it, but once again, a very crowded Central Division, and Jason mentioned it on the broadcast tonight, goal difference could come up huge, and you end up with a +4 on a night like this. You're the only team right now, 3 through 7, that has a positive goal difference, even though you've played the most matches.
And it's like, I know that people on the Indy side may be disappointed and, not disappointed, but frustrated and grumpy about that last goal, where David Mejia shoots from 25 yards and beats Dick as he's backpedaling and off his foot. But it's stuff like that. Yeah, you could very well see that goal be very important. You're trying to rack up goal difference at this point where it might matter about, do you get in the playoffs, or what's your matchup if you do get in the playoffs? Be very interested to see how that balances. The Tulsa game at the beginning of the season might be the same kind of situation. And look, this is what you have to do, and this is what I'm so impressed with this team, is where they've come from day one to now. It used to be, man, the 2's are at home. They're going to run a really young lineup who are trying to find their feet. Let's see how well they fight. Now we're to the point now, in my opinion, when they're playing at home, I'm looking for 3 points. And I'm disappointed when there's not 3 points. And especially after they handled a team like Louisville in Jack Hollison's first game as manager, I'm looking for 3 points.
Coming up with the match in the midweek also, remember, Rocco Rios Novo did not play. He was the second keeper on the game day roster. Aiden McFadden did not play. So you'll have Aiden McFadden
mixed out on 6 goals. He's going to break something Wednesday night.
So the goal numbers now, Mackie Job has 2 on the season. Darwin Mateus has 3. David Mejia got his first. Tyler Wolf got 3, 4, and 5 as Atlanta United 2 sets 3 club records tonight in the 6-2 win over Indy 11. Closing statement, Jarrett Smith.
A fantastic performance from them, professional all the way around. Like I said, I couldn't be more impressed with the way that they didn't let Indy breathe, and then even when the game got hectic, they make the changes. They bring on guys like Abdullah Joe, and damn, who else did they bring in off the top of my head?
Well, you had Goodrum come in, Connor Stanley came in, David Mejia came in, Brendan Lamb came in.
Brendan Lamb is who I'm thinking of. Brendan Lamb comes in. I was losing my track because there's 5 subs nowadays. But you had those guys come in, and there's moments where Atlanta United, too, just kind of took the air out of the ball. They didn't have to play the hectic game. And I was impressed with the way they were able to just kind of take the air out of it. Another guy who impressed me, it doesn't really show up on the stat sheet with him, but very impressed with the way that Bryce Washington gets on the back shoulder of whoever has the ball when it's back to goal. He created at least one turnover tonight, almost created 2 more, where somebody's receiving the ball back to the field of play, and he is right on there getting his leg in and disrupting it. And there were even stretches of this game where I thought, especially in the second half, where Indy's trying to break, and Atlanta does just enough in the midfield and on the defensive side of things to slow Indy down, where they have to cycle it back, where they have to slow things down just a little bit, where Atlanta can reorganize their defense.
And Bryce Washington, you mentioned Bryce Washington, 10th consecutive start. All 90 minutes, all the way through. So 10 matches, 10 starts, 900 minutes, and he's getting his work on the back line. Getting acclimated to the USL Championship in Atlanta United pretty quickly.
It's what you want to see. It's you need to know. You've signed him to a homegrown deal. Bryce Washington showed you in the academy. He's proven himself in the college level. Now you need to know if he can take that next step. He's giving you 90 minutes every game. That's good, because you need to know if he can be that guy, and he's going to have to prove it by getting minutes. I think he's looked more comfortable as he's gotten more time. I guess my final thing, I want to look at chances created because, my God. So Caleb Wiley had 4. Caleb Wiley as like a direct attacking left back is a terrifying thing to watch at times. His combination play with David Mejia in the second half was filthy a couple of times. Let's see, Robbie Mertz. I don't know what else to say about Robbie Mertz other than somebody get Robbie a goal. Robbie deserves a goal at this point. He's done everything else, created 4 chances tonight, 2 shots on target, 4 total shots. Robbie's very selfless with the ball, and there's sometimes I just want to scream shoot, but he's working to set his teammates up. Passed at 84% tonight. Darwin Matias had a goal, had an assist, had 4 chances created, got a yellow card, almost got sent off. And Tyler Wolf created 3 chances. Philip Goodrum created 3 chances. You create, what is that? Let's see, that is 4, 8, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 chances created.
Is that all? Is that all? 22? Only 22?
23 chances created. Maybe.
Okay.
22, 23 chances created. You do that, you're probably going to win. And if you don't, you're probably going to sacrifice a live animal to whatever soccer god needs to be sacrificed to.
That is your 2's review. Very successful night at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw. Jarrett, send us home.
Motion plot to young.